What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 205 of the Upland Property Experts Podcast. ThankMeLater had an unexpected visit from his mom, so he will not be joining me once again. But I do have the ninjas in the house. We have SC Kicker and KO Ninja. They'll be joining me. So much to talk about. We'll have Dak and Mass Chef from the Upland Racing League going into the final week 8, which is hosted by us. A lot of news dropped by Upland, a lot to talk about, and who knows what shenanigans are going to happen. Don't want to miss this episode.
The UPX Podcast with the property expert. If it's happening in Upland, it's the place you want to check first. With your host who's stupid to win and thank me later. Bringing the strategy, news, and cool charts with all the data. This is Upland, where the metaverse goes down. Genesis, San Fran, to Rio, and all around. Don't miss a week, you never know what they'll say next. It's the Upland Property Experts, baby, UPX.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, SC Kicker? Thanks for joining me this evening, my friend.
How's everyone doing? Good to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. And KO.
Exciting Thursday.
Absolutely. KO will be joining us shortly. So we'll be looking forward to that. And we are live in the Upland Cafe also. I love broadcasting live there each week too. So that's exciting in itself. Got a lot to talk about this week. Upland, I do want to circle back on the wholesale extravaganza. Want to cover that. They have another stock car exclusive sale going on for 8 and 9. And then we have, they talked about updating the Upland or user-generated content from Upland, so it's supposed to streamline the process of getting your map assets and building ornaments and stuff like that approved. The tokens, they're coming out tomorrow. So if you're watching this later, hopefully you're registered because they're coming out Friday, October 20th. So hopefully you registered and good luck on Friday. And then they have some racing changes too. You're able to stake on your races, which will be exciting. We'll talk about that with Dak. Mini game competition. I know there's a couple people out there working on mini games. They've told me about them, and I'm sworn to secrecy from a few different people. And I like everybody's concepts for the mini games. It's kind of interesting. I talked to these individuals ahead of time, and then all of a sudden Upland announces this mini game competition. So hopefully people are in close enough to development. And Spark Week's back. So that's interesting in itself, but it's not a real Spark Week in my opinion. But we'll get into that. So much to cover.
Did you get registered for totems?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I made it in right before I think it was right after we got off a stream this afternoon. So that's some pretty cool stuff coming up with the racing. I'm excited about that. We saw the announcement right before we got on our stream this afternoon, and we actually did a race. So we got to test it out, and it was a little bit glitchy. I entered 2 races, and my car entered, but I wasn't actually in it, so I couldn't control it. But my money was staked. The first race I lost, I took last place, and then somehow I ended up taking 3rd place. So I got a little bit of my UPX back. So it was cool. But it was kind of cool. I think it's a great concept. It brings another aspect to the racing, a little bit more excitement.
No, absolutely. So we'll jump right into the secondary market. We'll go ahead and do the secondary market, and then we will bring in, we'll talk about the Block Explorer extravaganza. Then we'll bring Dak in from the Upland Racing League, and then we'll hit all the other topics, and we'll get KO in here whenever he is able to join us. Or if he's not, it's all right. We got this. Look at you guys doing 2 streams in a day too.
Yeah, it was a busy day, man. We had a rocking morning. It was real busy, and then we did the stream, and then we had to get right out to classes, and my daughter was visiting from college, so we had a quick dinner with her, and ready to be back right at it. So never stops.
Never stops.
The body and the brain they're meant to be in motion, right? So keep them moving.
I added some new layouts, and I was just seeing how they how they look. Oh, I got rid of you. There we go. You're back. All right. Interesting. All right. We'll play with all that. Anyway, moving on to the market update for the week. We're looking back the past 7 days, and nothing really jumps out. Manhattan's climbing back up slowly but surely. The US dollar floor is pretty much in green. I think that's a very positive sign for the week. I don't know what that spike's attributed to, especially with it being Spark Week and being able to buy Spark. Maybe that might be it. People are just trying to churn up some revenue to buy that Spark.
Santa Clara at 34. I thought that was actually higher. I sold 3 properties, I think, in Santa Clara at 39.
Oh, nice. And it just really depends on when we grab the numbers for the day, and it floats back and forth because I've done the numbers and looked an hour later just for my personal shopping, and I
It
found
changed.
oh, it changes pretty quickly, especially if
Yeah.
you only have a couple of properties on the floor, but it gives you a ballpark. I mean, if there's something drastic where it's like 25,000 UPX and the next closest property is going to be 40,000 UPX, of course, I'll just kind of toss that to the side because by the time we get on the air, that 25 is probably gone.
Yeah, it'll be gone quick.
Yeah. What's going on, Aaron? And then the other thing that really jumped out here is Rutherford keeps floating back and forth. It's a good treasure hunting city, and we've seen the floor high, we've seen the floor low, uh, but it did drop 11.85% on the UPX floor. Their US dollar floor stayed pretty stable. And one of the interesting things is Manhattan sold out, Santa Clara sold out, Rutherford sold out, and San Francisco. And those are the only cities that have been fully released. All these other cities have only been partially released. Yes, some of them are close to selling out. Some of them are not sold out. I do find that interesting that the secondary market is that high in the cities that still have properties available and still have property, still have expansion coming to the city.
Yeah. Got Arlington and Dallas are pretty stale there. No changes at all. Slow and steady. Real slow and steady.
Yeah. But if we look back in time, the top 10, you had your top 5 and then everybody else was under 10,000 UPX. But as you see now, as we've added London and Tokyo and Berlin over the past year, and as Dallas and Arlington and Las Vegas continue to grow, as they have some time underneath them, they're able to, everything's above 10,000 in these cities. Looking at the highest arbitrage, I still have to figure out how to track it week to week. Just looking at a static number each week is kind of hard, but this gives you kind of a insight to where this is a great place if you want to buy for US dollars and then sell for UPX. This is one of the places to look and stats to look at as one of your starting points. You can never use one data point as your only decision making for purchasing a property on the secondary market, unless you're just like, I'm going to blow a bunch of UPX and just buy stuff.
Yeah.
But here, Rutherford was right around 64% last week. But once again, you also have to look at transaction volume. That's something I'm working with. I'm working with a team and we're tweaking the data. So coming here, hopefully by the end of the year or beginning of next year, we'll have more of the things that I've been wanting for a while. And I'm excited for that because if you don't look at the transaction volume, you're like, oh, this is a great spot. But Rutherford doesn't sell that many properties each week.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting there. So, well, we'll work on the new stats and we'll get that figured out.
Yeah. San Fran stays pretty hot. San Fran's always got something moving. I picked up a few properties in San Fran this week and I bought cash to get get the best deal I could, of course. And then 2 of them had houses on them. And
Oh,
they weren't
nice.
micro houses. They were like townhouses. So it was good. I didn't have to destroy them and rebuild.
Yeah, that it's kind of interesting seeing how many neighborhoods just like have blocks of micro houses. I'm like, Oh, it drives me up. But it's your own property, but it drives me up the wall. I'm like, why? But a micro house still is one unit.
Yeah. It doesn't have a whole lot of use case really, but that's just my opinion. So
but it's still one unit. But you know, you got one unit. It'll be interesting to see what the unit, you know, these units, 1 unit, 3 unit, 8 units, and all that. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out here in the future too.
you could rent them out for couch surfing. Couch surfing. Is that still a thing?
There you go. There you go. All right. And then this is the lowest city arbitrages. And this is where you can, in theory, buy for UPX and sell at the US dollar floor. Pretty much, we've already covered that places like Buenos Aires, where it's a $3.85 US dollar floor, Kansas City at $3.99. Arlington made the bottom here. You know, it's a 51%, 51.79% difference, but it's $6.99 to 14,500. So you're still pretty close. There you can kind of go below the floor to get the sale, but Detroit, Rio, Sao Paulo, Chicago, those $3 floors, there are just so many properties are there. It's a slow churn.
Yeah, you got to watch the sizes you get to.
Mm-hmm. And then going back 6 months, looking at where we were 6 months ago to where we are today, kind of bloody red on the US dollar side and even on the UPX side. Manhattan was 88,888 UPX. Yeah, they're down 21.5%. Rutherford, as we talked about, has been dropping as some key players decided to get rid of some of their properties there. They're down 36%, and their US dollar is down 42, almost 43%. It's been a rough year overall.
That's crazy. Like, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like just thinking back to when I started Upland, which was January of 2 years ago almost. So, I mean, like San Francisco 2 years ago, I want to say it was like almost 30,000.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
First starting, and then I mean, just a USD floor, man. I don't know. It was closer to $20. I feel like
It was.
which is absolutely just weird to think about. The arbitrage is still about the same, and that's usually how I get UPX into the game. It's I use San Fran. Like I just feel like San Fran moves quickly. There's a lot of players that move properties in San Fran either for UPX or for US dollar. I know the arbitrage is not like the best there, but things tend to move. I just experimented with Rutherford. I bought a few in cash for Rutherford, and it sat for 2 weeks, and then I got an offer on it for maybe 5,000 UPX less than what I was asking. I ended up taking it just because I kind of wanted to get rid of the property.
I mean, still, that's not bad. You're still getting a good return for US dollar to UPX price there.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't upset about it, but it just didn't. San Fran, you can move properties
Pretty quick.
24 hours at least. Maybe 48 hours, but those seem to be moving a little quicker.
And I'd be intrigued to see how you do in Porto or Arlington. It's 50%, but yeah, see how fast they move, or even if not San Francisco. Well, I mean, you're buying for US dollar and you're selling for UPX, so San Francisco is a great place to do it. I'm sorry, I thought you were going the other way. Never mind, stay in San Francisco. It's moving. It's
Yeah.
working.
Yeah,
San Fran moves pretty quick.
Where's Los Angeles? Because I think Los Angeles hit the $3 floor, but then it bounced back up. Actually, is it on?
I'll check Los Angeles, but I'll be interested in Nashville. You can get him for $3.16 and still flip it for 60%. Los Angeles is kind of stuck in between the two, the highs and the lows. So they're somewhere in the middle.
Interesting. I know it was flirting with that $3 floor. which is crazy for LA. I mean,
Yes.
I can't wait, a year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years from now when LA is sold out, and I think it's going to be a different story.
I
There's
used to do a
still,
lot of sales in Nashville and New Orleans, both actually, in between my San Fran deals. And those used to do really well. I don't know, for whatever reason, I just haven't been concentrated in those areas as much.
yeah. Looking at this week, last week's UPX markup percentage floor, nothing really jumps out. And then looking at this is the cheapest property in each city with their percentage of markup, and these are your highest marked up percentages across Rutherford, Manhattan, Santa Clara, Kansas City. Everything here is over 400%. And then if we look at the other end of the spectrum and look at the bottom part of it, Queens 5,400, that's only 106% markup. Los Angeles 72.99, 120%. So there's some deals to be had there. And if you watch close enough, you'll find some under mint stuff too.
So the property I bought in Rutherford was it paid out 4 UPX a month, which was crazy. So what would that have minted for? What, like, or is that
Pretty,
right?
700 UPX,
yeah.
it paid 4 UPX. That's it.
Hang on, maybe it was 4 up squared.
25 years, you could buy a thing of popcorn.
Hang on, let me.
Because Rutherford was a decent price on their city release. It wasn't a cheap one. We're like, oh, look at all these great deals. They did have some good deals, but it wasn't super cheap.
Yeah, it was one of these tiny little properties. That's a 17 up square. It was smaller than that, I know. Here we go. It's these little tiny triangles.
Oh, okay.
4 up squared and 7 UPX a month.
Okay. Yeah,
So what was that minted for?
like under 1,000 or 1,000 or something.
I think
525.
Okay. Yeah. That's insane.
There was some areas in Nashville that had some tiny properties too, like that.
Yeah, Nashville had these like huge properties, and then all of a sudden there's just these little like small ones. It was
What
just
were those?
odd.
Were they dorms? Were they
No
dorms
idea.
around the college or something? They were teeny.
No, but usually the dorm would be on a big property, so that makes no sense there either.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at the bottom 10 city floors, you got $3 holler all the way across the board.
What happened in Rio?
I have no idea. I wonder. Yeah, I don't know what happened. It dropped about 20%, and I don't know why. Cleveland dropped 12.5% ish. Other than that, pretty solid. Because if we go back 6 months ago, we're still down from where we were 6 months ago for these cities. And this is the interesting part is even though here is the floor today, here's what it was 6 months ago. I guess I should probably go back and I need to revisit this data. But anyway, as I think out loud, but here's these cities that are the bottom 10 right now. Here's where they were 6 months ago. Sao Paulo was down 23.5%. That's the biggest drop there. And everybody was $3 6 months ago and still $3 today.
Man, oh man. Wonder if we're gonna see that, over time, start to creep back up in some of these bottom 10 floors. I mean, I think something's got to happen there. I guess either with nodes or, I mean, I don't know. What's it gonna take to get the USD floors and UPX floors back up again? And some of these, when I came into Upland, Fresno was already released, Cleveland was already released, Staten Island and Bakersfield, they were already released. So, I mean, what's it going to take to get these cities back up? Because now the mint prices are higher, so it seems like the U.S. dollars floor is staying up higher.
I mean, for some people, they don't have the discretionary income either, and they bought this stuff a year or 2 years ago, and it's just, hey, I need a little extra cash to cover this, or I want to do that, and that's where
Mm.
some of the stuff sits, and it's just you have people with the UPX coming in, and they want to get some cash out.
Yep. Yep. Maybe just when the state of the economy is a lot better, maybe the next bull run, there's more cash to influx into things like this. And I don't know.
I think just some of those areas are not as exciting. Like you said, there's not a lot of nodes. I don't know of any nodes in Cleveland. Maybe there are, but
Glenville's a node. I know Glenville was a node. I don't know how active that is or if it's still going on.
Yeah,
Let us know,
Cleveland.
Glenville.
When I first started in Upland, that's where I got dropped, was Cleveland. I couldn't get out of there quick enough. So I went to Chicago. That was the only place I could figure out how to get to, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
That's funny. I went to Nashville and bought some way overpriced properties. It's the first thing I did.
Yeah. Looking at sold out, Sao Paulo went up to 90% this week. Birmingham, Tokyo, they're good. All right, still about 315,000 properties out there. Nothing too exciting there. All right. Looking at this. We're looking at the Block and Load, the ultimate metaverse wholesale extravaganza. We speculated last week, More Cheese, myself, and the Goldsmith speculated on this. We weren't in love with the Block Explorers themselves, what they were selling. And one of the points we did not make last week is really you were buying the UPX. Is what you were really buying, and the Block Explorer came with it. So people are like, well, you're taking a loss. I'm like, no, you bought the UPX. You're not taking a loss, but you got to provide something that's going to resell. I didn't hear a lot of people saying they were excited about these jerseys and couldn't wait to get their hands on it.
They all look the same is my thing. Everyone, I mean, they're different, obviously. You wonder with the 99, what is that, the meaning behind the 99? Growing up, I think I only remember two sports figures in my days. One was Wayne Gretzky, of course, great hockey player. And the other one I could remember back years ago from, I believe it was the New York Jets, was the guy with the long hair, was Steve Gastineau.
Yep.
I think that was New York. But those are the only two 99s I really remember as a kid. I'm sure there's some other ones that I can't think of, but those are the only two that really resonate.
So these things stayed out on the market for a very long time for people to buy up. It was slow moving. I do like the concept of them offering Block Explorers to the shops, but buy stuff that's desired, create stuff that will be desired, or at least explain what they're for, or the purpose of it, or how they could be used as a collection. It was just kind of, the concept was great. The execution could be improved, in my opinion.
I think that either one or two things. Either one, this was just like a really quick thrown together test run to see how it worked, and then or Upland's got a trick up their sleeve, and there's actually some value to these or a special meaning behind it, something like that. But I mean, at the moment, it's not too enticing. How did it work? It was like $25, and then they got like 100 of these, or
no? You got one, so you got 25,000 UPX, and you got one.
Oh, just one?
Yeah, just one.
Yeah,
I thought it was like a wholesale. Like
no.
You got like a.
And
that's what you would think when you read it, though, right? That's what I thought too. And when I heard one, I was like, "What? One?"
that was my other issue. If you're selling to a Block Explorer shop, there were 300. They were limited items, but sell them more than one.
So they wholesale them one Block Explorer for $25, and you got the UPX.
When they sold 25,000 UPX for $25, and they gave you a Block Explorer. But if you had but the only people that could purchase it were the people that had a Block Explorer shop.
But they were only allowed to purchase one.
And then they go back into queue. So you
Okay.
could
How
get
many of
multiple
these
ones.
total? How many were there total?
Depended on which one. They had different levels.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, that is interesting. I
They
don't know
are
if I would.
jerseys, right? They are jerseys.
Yes. They're
Okay.
block explorers.
Okay.
They're block explorers.
Yeah.
When
But-
I first seen them, until I seen the number, I didn't even realize they were jerseys. I thought they were shrubs. They look like shrubs.
I can see that.
Bushes.
Or like a mushroom or something like that. That's fun.
So hopefully Upland learns something off of this, and then they take it and, I would like to see them drive it too. If they're offering the Block Explorer shop owners, they're the only ones that can purchase it, is like, here, you get 10 of these,
That's what I was thinking. Was
Yeah.
you pay the $25, get 25,000 UPX, and you get, 5, 10, 20, whatever it might be.
Yeah. Or do that too, okay, pay $25 and you get 3, pay $50 and you get 10, whatever, incentivize it as an actual wholesale and make sure that they're getting multiples and just not one, and then provide something that the community would be excited about. It was just, I don't know. I didn't see anybody super excited about the graphics of these block explorers.
Yeah. Agreed.
Oh, cool. Who knows? Maybe there'll be some kind of different utility that we're unaware of, and it'll be something big one day, and we're all going to wish we had them.
that could be true too. How many block explorer shops? So how big of a mint run? That would be something they need to take. I don't know off the top of my head how many BE shops are out there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they got some kind of data from it and a kind of feel for how it went. And I'm sure we'll see some tweaking.
And they listen to the content creators, and I think we're all aligned on this one.
Yep.
All right, before I forget, let's talk about Creedmoor, the Spooktacular. That's going on right now. They're going to have the big race on the 27th of October, and they have auctions going on for the 11 spots in it, and it's over on Wax. Got a lot of sponsors, as you can see. There's all kinds of people sponsoring this, and you can get everything on Atomic Hub. And all the proceeds benefit the Child Mind Institute. A lot of great prizes being given away for all the people that get to race. Their tickets win and they get their spot in the race. And you'll get a lot of fun stuff. A lot of good prizes are out there. Very excited to watch that race on the 27th. And they're actually doing it at the Castle Run Speedway in Kansas City. And that is owned by Mass Chef of the Upland Racing League. And they will be streaming that on the MRNN, the Metaverse Racing News Network. And let's see, your NFTs that you do get for your ticket are 101 works of the NFT. And it's going to be a good time. Where did I see? There we go. There is the old list. They're working on a updated prize listing, but everybody that finishes, they're getting some UPX, some block explorers, and the higher you finish, the more exciting prizes you get awarded.
The prize table was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty sick.
They posted in our server, I think, the prize list yesterday or 2 days ago. So I don't know if there's an updated one, but I mean, 1st through 6th was really solid. I mean, I think that the first place, I think there was $1 million UPX worth of prizes in the first place winner alone.
Yeah. I know if you finish first in the race, you do get one of the Midnight Reaper map assets from me.
Yeah, that thing's massive. I love that thing.
Yeah, that's sick. That's awesome. And I mean, that's worth and what are those going for?
$150 or 150,000 UPX.
So I mean that's just one of the prizes. There was a ton of stuff. I was really impressed.
Yeah. There's spectacular puzzles, more block explorers, townhouse ornaments, a Belrose property, Yo-Yo Agi property over in Tokyo.
There was a one-of-one block explorer.
Yep. There's a one-of-one director, skull with headphones. I really believe that's Brett Gerber's old director. Also, they were missing 2 of my map assets that I said that I would donate to this too. So they'll sort those out. Hopefully they put in Coffin's Bony Secret as for the second place instead of the Grave Breaker and move the Grave Breaker down a little. But I'll let them deal with that.
Yeah, that was this event last year was awesome to participate in. I won one of the auctions.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, I won the second or the third one. SC Kicker, did you win yours yet?
Sore subject.
I didn't know if you won one today.
I got outbid at the last minute on one. I guess the first one is at like 11 o'clock at night, and then I set my alarm for the next one I was in, and it was a really sweet looking one too. And I woke up at like 3:30 in the morning to get on there. I wanted to win this thing bad. And same thing, I got outbid right at the end. And then last night I woke up at 4:09 a.m., got my bid in and got outbid by, I think it was either Arshak or Matsuda. They both got me. So
Matsuda.
Was it Matsuda last night? And then it must've been Arshak the night before.
Yeah.
They're sneaky.
Those guys are terrors. They're sneaky on the racetrack and in the auctions too.
Yeah.
So
I was looking at my notes, and then I came back to the main screen, and there's Dak like, bring me in on this. I got updates. So I was kind of slow of seeing his message. So welcome, Dak, and please provide the updates for the Creedmoor Spooktacular.
So Dak, can we get a better time on these auctions? If I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning one more night, my wife is going to toss me out. I'm going to be living in my Upland house in Hyde Park.
I am not managing the auctions for the servers. So we did it in 3 different servers. We did it in Board Uplander Club. We're doing it in Creedmoor. And then the last 4 will be in URL. And that's an update. So this is one of the old posters. We actually, after our legal review, realized that technically the raffle, because of the way it works, would be considered gambling, which is not allowed. And so while there was a big conversation around what can we do, how should we do it, and so this is all part of the learning process. So we have removed the raffle option, and so now all 12 seats will be auctioned like they were last year. And that's why the prizes weren't there to Stupid, because we were going to surprise people with raffling them as part of the tickets that they had. But since we can't do a raffle because it's might be considered gambling, we had to pull the whole thing. So we're going to try to figure out how to do something like that in the future. But for now, we're just going to keep it simple. We're going to do the 12 auction, the 12-seat auction. We know that works. We'll redo the prize puzzle and incorporate the 2 extra prizes into it, so it just got better for the auction prize pool. So good stuff.
Cool.
But it is part of the whole learning process. Last year we learned a lot about certain things, and we had a lot of stuff squared away for this year. This year we tried something new with the raffle and learned that was not going to be a good idea.
That's interesting though, because even for charity, that's
So there's a big difference between door prizes and raffles. And if you're doing a raffle, and there's a legal definition of what a raffle is and so forth, a nonprofit has to have a license in the state to be able to register for the raffle event, which is a gambling event. And if you start dealing with a metaverse where there is no set state, how do you deal with that, et cetera, et cetera? So there are ways, like a door prize is allowed, right? So if someone, like for example in URL, we have NFTs. Now we're not selling the NFTs as a raffle ticket. We're selling the NFTs as VIP access. Now through that VIP access, you can come in and we'll do door prizes kind of things where we'll raffle off a prize just for people who have membership kind of thing, right? That's not gambling. That is just anyone it's open to anyone who has a pass, and we gave away the NFTs. that's the other part, is when you sell the NFT, even if it's a recommended donation or whatever it is, that's when it starts to get into the whole gambling, crossing over into gambling. So there's Shaq brought it to everyone's attention, and she's like, oh, we need to work through this. And in the end, we tried different ideas, we talked about different options, and we just decided keep it simple, avoid any complications, and make sure that we don't look bad with Upland kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Could you have made the raffle tickets NFTs?
They are NFTs.
Oh, there. Okay.
Yeah, so Joe Lives and Fourth Wall Digital had created these really cool NFT tickets. They were pretty awesome, and so we wanted to use them. And it's just, with the race pretty much happening next week, there just wasn't enough time to kind of work through all of the different gotchas.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So in a way, I guess it's good that you have this, but this is definitely not the right flyer. We'll get you a new flyer.
All right. And then Shaq said they'll reimburse anybody that bought a raffle ticket.
Yep.
It's fun stuff.
Hey, we're all learning together, right?
All right.
That
As the
is
metaverse turns. Yeah.
Actually, with you here, let's talk. We'll go to the next slide, the stock car exclusive sales. So now we're doing races 8 and 9. You excited for this there, Dak?
What's this?
The stock car pro series.
I'm kidding.
I'm like, what?
No, I am very excited.
Wait. Wow, I didn't know. Oh, are you thank me later?
Oh, okay. Well, on that note, no, I am very excited. So I had good luck in race 7. I was able to pick up a race 8, and then my usual luck came back, and so I have no race 9, and Mass Chef has a race 9, but no race 8. So he's trying to get his hands on some race 8 things. Well, actually, he got one today, so he's good. So I got race 8. He's got race 8. I don't have any race 9 yet. I'm still working on trying to get that. But yes, I'm excited about these. I don't know if people have been seeing the prices on them, on the secondaries. I don't know if people are buying them or not buying them, but I mean, it's not a bad deal for $100.
No, not at all. And being a collector, I'd love to have it, but I know, getting you guys, even just one of the tester cars last week, that made me super happy. So,
well, we're glad you had the luck, because I know Mass Chef is still a little burnt that he's never been able to mint a car.
Oh my
wow.
gosh.
Really?
Never. None of the cars, none of the MV motor cars, none of the stock cars, no car has he been able to mint. He's
That's
bought
crazy.
them all on secondary.
Ah, that's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Go ahead, Kale.
No, I mean, I feel bad. I won't say what I've been able to do. But so you got one of the practice cars, or is that what it's called?
Trainers.
Trainers. So I've seen a few people. Have you been able to race them yet?
I don't know. I sold it. Mass Chef let me hold his pass to get, help him, and I got it. So I just sold that to them at cost, because that was the agreement, because
he was very nice.
He had 2 passes, and you needed a pass for the snapshot. Multiple passes multiple mementos didn't give you a better odds in the snapshots. I didn't have one, so I said, yeah, I'll hold one for you guys. And actually, I was able to get a car. I was number 36, so I was like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, and you kind of mentioned this before too, Stupid, about how like community can come together to help each other kind of succeed. And that was a great example of, you just giving back to the community and helping out the community. So I know I appreciate it. Matt Chef was so ecstatic to get a car.
I was just sad that it was a tester. I wanted something cool for you guys.
Well, what we're looking for is the competition ones. I mean, that's really, those are the ones that, and they're going for about 400 and, between 400 and $500.
That's not bad though.
No.
In my opinion, that's not bad.
It's makes it the second most expensive car to race in URL, S1R being the most expensive.
Right.
What are the S1Rs going for on the dollar side?
2 or 3,000, or they used to at least. Did
They
they come
used to
down?
know they dropped down to anywhere between 700 and 900.
Okay.
Oof. Okay.
What are the semis going for right now?
I haven't seen semis for sale. I know Mass Chef has been able to, I mean, he's a wheel and dealer. And I think that he was able to get some semis for really good prices, flipping them for 800.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Semis are still expensive because
Yeah.
people are betting on transportation.
Yeah.
That's one of the few vehicles I don't have is the semi.
Well, I'm sure we're gonna. Okay, yep, that's what I was about to. I was gonna say the racing with stakes today was pretty darn cool.
Yeah. I know, SC Kicker, you're in the URL, and Dak, you run you're co-founder of it. What do you guys think the Racing with Stakes? How'd you like this announcement?
So we actually did some races live earlier today. Actually, we versed Dak, Laban, and Maui as well, and we all put up 1,000 UPX on the track. We did Castle Run actually, and we did Kingdom Speedways, I think.
Yep.
And well, some people got glitched out. I don't know if that's 'cause there were so many people racing as soon as this came out. There was just a ton of races. So I don't know if that was crashing the server or whatever. But I was able to race both times. I know SC Kicker, you got
I
kicked
got
out
glitched out twice, but I still took third place somehow. The last race. At least I got half of my UPX back.
It looks like
It's like playing
5%.
lotto.
Yeah, it looks like 5% goes to the speedway owners, which I think that's pretty killer. And
Yeah.
I think another 5% goes to Upland, if I'm not mistaken. And then
I think so.
Yep. And I was really happy with it. And as soon as a couple glitches get figured out, we had the one problem we had today was like if you make a public race, you can't see what cars are in there. So you don't know if you're going to jump in there with 4s or 1Es or 1Rs, and so that was an issue.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things, and I was talking to X1 about this because he was very excited about the announcement. He's like, "What do you think? What do you think?" And so I was processing it, and there's a couple of things. One, I said I think this is really going to help street races. So I think street races are really going to become very popular, and I think that servers that do one-off street race type models, so Tolton, ULUGT, Ace Racing, and so forth, I think they're going to actually get a little more popular because people will be able to come in and do fast races. And as KO Ninja mentioned, because you can't control a public race in terms of what cars come in, the race lobbies become really important in being able to kind of just control what kind of cars. Because I mean, if not, you come in with an S1R, you're going to beat everyone, and you're going to be taking everyone's money all the time, right?
Yeah.
And so until Upland kind of does a classification kind of model where you can't just put any car in, the race lobbies are going to be an extremely important part of the racing stakes models. For one of the things I told X1 though was that for URL we won't be able to use it. It's not containerization for price pool management, and so I'm excited about what it's doing. A lot of people racing, a lot of people very excited. You guys talked about what is this going to do to the cost of cars, right? Or it's going to will it drive the price of cars up and so forth. So I think that there's a lot of positives to it, and it's one of the first steps in monetizing the MetaVenture tracks. I know that there's other plans for monetizing the tracks, so it's good to see that. So there is a lot of value. But for URL, for example, we don't just do entry fees. We have sponsorship fees and all of these other elements that kind of come in, and you can't manage all that through this. So it's a good first step, but it's not good for like leagues and league management. It really is a street race, one-off kind of thing.
Yeah, the metaverse makes it, aka the Goldsmith. Racing for stakes with mixed cars seems silly. It's some racers accepting a handicap and others getting a huge advantage by racing top tier cars.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
go
sorry,
ahead, Kale. Go ahead, Kale.
I did as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, is this up and running? So I jumped in there there was like 10 races going on, and I just clicked one with my 1E, and I was racing against a bunch of 2s, and I took everybody's UPX. I was like, only did that once, because then I was like, oh crap, I didn't realize that would happen.
But the thing is, if you don't bring your best car, everyone else will bring their best car. And so, like, do you sit back and just say, well, I want to be the nice guy and not try to race, in my 1E or 1R when other people are racing in a 4, a standard 4? But if you bring the standard 4, you'll be racing the 1Es, the 2Rs, things like that. So they need to fix it. But I think the solution is go to servers like Tolton, like ULU GT, like Ace Racing, like URL, and do racing through race lobbies on Discord. It sucks for people who don't have Discord and can't use that functionality. But I mean, right now, until they put the functionality into Upland, that I think is going to be the best solution for mixed racing.
And I know Upland does a good job of when they roll something out, they listen to the community, they listen to the content creators and take the feedback. I don't know how long it will take them to change it, but hopefully there will be the ability of when you create a race and for staking that you have the ability to say, this is, this style car, race this style car. And because if you're not bringing your best car, that's on you. And if you're feeling bad about taking other people's money, then you shouldn't even be racing with stakes. So
there you go. That's a good point. And I think that one of the other things too that I think is going to happen is you're right. Upland is pretty good at listening. But I think what's also going to be interesting is when people are losing their UPX because they came in with their 4E thinking they were going to be great, and someone comes in 1R and takes all their money, and and they start betting real money like 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 UPX, and they're coming in with their 2R thinking they're going to win some good UPX, and someone comes in with a 1R and takes everyone's money. There's gonna be some people upset.
Yeah, it'll leave a sour taste for sure.
So I thought it was crazy. They just launched it with 100,000 UPX cap. That's a lot.
I think that's awesome. I think it's awesome.
I do.
But
too.
I'm a degenerate, so I do think it's awesome because you can pick your poison. If you feel that, and if you come rolling in with your semi and putting 100,000 up on the race, that's your own fault. But
semi will beat almost everything except an S. Yeah, an S1R is probably the only one the semi won't beat.
Really?
Yeah, it's true.
Semis are fast.
Yeah.
Until they put the back on them.
Yeah. No, semis are actually awesome to watch race.
Okay. Showing up in your go-kart with 100,000 up extra.
That's better.
I just thought a semi was slow. I don't have a semi. I haven't watched a semi race, but okay.
It's crazy. I love it.
It was on the Loaded Up Dan show. I saw someone racing one and it smoked everybody.
But I think this is helping, provide utility to the game. It's starting to get more people engaged. It can help drive a secondary market for the cars and maybe even help initial sales of cars. So I think it's all good for the Upland community. Hopefully Upland makes the tweaks necessary in a fast duration and not let this kind of drag out. There's, filtering of it, being able to find a race in the lobby that suits your needs of your cars and being able to set up a race that, this is the price. These are the cars that you should race. So nobody's losing their money.
I will just add again, when they put, and not if, I think it's when they put the functionality of picking the car, I still think that the Discord servers are going to be critical to racing, because let's say you pick a 2R, right, as your car to race. how many people are going to be actively looking for 2Rs and so forth. And so it's going to make it easier for these Discord servers that do the one-offs to actually manage the qualified racing, right? Like saying, okay, we're going to have all 2Rs racing now, so that you can actually get the 6 racers, so that you can have the nice size prize pool and so forth. If you're just a 1R, or if you're just a single person racing and you only get like one other person, it actually isn't, like I was noticing, if you do 2-person race, it's not that great. If you do a 3-person race, you're really kind of screwed. If you're going 3, you need 4 or 5 or 6.
Yep.
So those Discord servers, I think, are really going to benefit from stake racing. Just my opinion.
No, I agree. I think we'll, in our Discord, I think we'll probably have like a little race section, and that way we can start getting the same cars racing against each other, make it fair and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Dick, what do you have we're through week 7 of the Upland Racing League, coming into week 8. Very excited. What do you have for us this week?
So you might know the sponsor.
I've heard of the guys.
You've heard of them?
Yeah.
So race number 8, brought to you by the UPX Podcast. And our leaderboard, the top 3 with Matsuda R, Arshak D, and Mass Chef, really close. TB is a dark horse that can come in and maybe do something if everybody keeps talking about trying to sabotage the MMVM motor team cars. There's something about bananas. Don't ask, but
he's done. I mean, like, your top 3's locked in. Nobody can break the top 3 with the last race to go, but they're all within points of each other. So it's going to be a fun last week.
Right. And so the top 3, pretty much, it's going to be one of these 3 is going to be the champion. Now, you made it interesting so that even if you are not going to be one of the champions, you still want to race hard, because you, the UPX Podcast, have provided prizes for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
That's right. So first place gets the Midnight Reaper. That is your huge Grim Reaper. It stands a total of 6 meters, 18 feet. Looks pretty awesome on the map. And
Everybody wants one.
They do. Second place is Coffin's Bony Secret, and 3rd place is the Harvest Pillar. So definitely keeping that running. And actually, now that I have more, when we started this, that was there. So I'm actually going to add on top of that is we have the Grave Breaker for 4th place. And then we have the Pumpkin Pipsqueak for 5th place. So
I really like the Pumpkin Pipsqueak. That one, it sounded so cool when you were describing him. Also, the way it was described as the Pumpkin Pimp Squeak. you got to do him now. You got to create a Pumpkin Pimp Squeak.
Yeah, I didn't write. I'll have to email the team and see if I can add a late variant to that model. Just dab it out like in a pimp suit. So
Heck yes.
On them and
Heck yes.
A fur, one of those fur scarf things.
Yep.
Yeah.
So no, but that's cool. And KO Ninja, I'm sure, is going to be very excited about it, because he's usually trying to finish in the 3rd, 4th spot. Usually someone in MV in the Mahoney Motors team finishes in 1st or 2nd. So
hang on.
Uh-oh.
I'm a little sour from last week. Because I was beating Arshak on the 3rd lap. And I practiced so hard for that track. I knew it down to a T. And I was pretty sure I had him. I had him blocked. I was ready. I was locked and loaded. I was taking him down. And I left a very important meeting. I had to lie to get out of this meeting to go
no.
So I was in Denver, Colorado on a business trip and a conference. And so I just, made up this excuse to leave an important meeting. And I had a friend with me. He knew what I was doing. He's like, I can't believe you're leaving this meeting to go do an Upland race. This is very important business. And so anyway, I'm crushing the race, and then I'm in first place on the last lap and taking down our shack. I was so pumped, and then we collided on the. I collided with Mass Jeff actually, and it sent my car backwards. It said I was going negative 600 miles an hour, and I had to refrain from yelling at this conference. It was so funny. But
It was actually pretty bad. It actually has now been a clip where it's like the first major crash in racing in the Upland. It was so you're part of history now, KO.
I do feel honored to be a part of the first crash. So I'll take that. That's the silver lining for me. So.
Yeah, and so we had to change the track, and everybody's like, "Wait, we haven't practiced this track." That the racers actually practice so much these tracks before going into race week that when you change it on them, But we picked one that was one from the one that we had raced before, but it was the very first week, so people were like, "This was so long ago," like like 10 weeks ago.
I got last.
I mean, the season went so fast. I mean, it was like, I'm like, dang, there's 2 weeks between race 1 and race 2 due to everybody's schedule. I'm like, this season is going to take forever. And here we are on the eve of race number 8.
Yeah. I can't believe it's coming to an end. I posted an announcement in URL kind of walking through some of the things that I could remember as kind of like the firsts. And there were so many firsts in the season, and it was actually just, I know I talked to Matt, and I'm like, I think we can be proud of this season that we were able to do quite a bit. It was, the first season where players were controlling their cars, and so we didn't know how that was going to work. It was the first season where we incorporated the whole pole position kind of thing. And let me tell you, KO was there in the race lobby, along with Wolf Warner and others that I'm sure are watching. Shacklin has been there. The race lobby mechanics that really kind of had to evolve. There's a whole process to that. And then, first time we were on YouTube, first time simulcasting to Upland Cafe, hosting the first Upland Cafe kind of meetup with the Stock Car Pro. It's hard to believe that it's only been like a month and a half.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful season. I've loved it. I love being a part of it. It's awesome to see it grow. You guys are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you. And it's the community, it's the participants, it's the sponsors like UPX Podcast. It's Upland kind of embracing it and saying, yeah, racing is good, let's do it. So it's been really great to just kind of see it all come together. And when I was a nut for starting a racing league without even cars being out there to where we are today, it just feels good.
I was one of the guys that was calling you crazy. I'm like, dude, there's not even cars in this guy's got a racing league and he wants you to submit tracks. I go, this guy's smoking something. I'll admit when I was wrong, and I've sponsored both seasons and I'm going to sponsor every season going forward. But at first I thought you were kind of off your rocker.
He's smoking tires. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess that leads to what's next, right? So we're going to finish this race tomorrow, and that's the season. But then we have the Spooktacular the following Friday, and that brings us into November. And so in November, we're going to start a abbreviated racing season because we don't have the manufactured go-karts yet. We only have the Genesis Week go-karts. So the Q4 race is going to be go-karts, but it's only going to be a 4-week go-kart race season.
If anyone needs a go-kart, let me know. I will loan you out for the race. So if you want to compete, I'll hook you up.
Well, there you go. And so that's going to be, but that also means that we're only going to have four gold sponsor spots available. So three. Yes, 3 gold sponsorships.
2.
All right, see, they're already sold. They're already going. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be fun. And then Q1 2024 it gets real with the Stock Car Pro competition racing season. I'm looking forward to seeing stock cars racing.
I think you might be down to one because Rodrigo's like, how to sponsor you. So moving quick.
Yeah, wow. All I have to do is come on UPX Podcast and say I have sponsorships and they'd be gone. Wow. All right. Thanks, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now, how long is the Stock Car Pro series going to go for?
So that one is probably going to be either 8 or 10. And because we want to make sure we finish it long before we start the Q2, which is the Champions Cup, our S1R season, which we'll do the live event at Genesis Week, like we did last year. That was just too much fun not to do it again. And
Right.
actually, X1 was like, oh, yeah, let's plan that one out this year.
Oh, absolutely.
What if at Genesis Week the finale was done up on a big screen in front of everybody on like the stage, so you had like the final race, with everybody sitting there watching up on a big screen. That would be pretty sweet.
That would be
That
good.
would be
Because last year was, with everything going on at Genesis Week, there was so much going on. I almost missed it. If it wasn't for Dak, I would have missed the race.
Upland should make that happen.
Yeah.
There's definitely interest in doing that. There's also, there's going to be something.
Okay. Excited for that. Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. So good luck to everybody tomorrow. Can't wait to see who wins it all. Can't wait for everybody to race hard to get these awesome map assets.
Yeah. And then the Creedmoor Halloween Race Spectacular with more awesome map assets.
Yes.
Uh,
And that's next Friday, right?
That's next Friday at 2 p.m. versus 1 p.m. And then we'll be telecasting that as well to the cafe.
Nice.
Nice.
So before I let you go, Dak, just wanted to let you know the pumpkin pip squeak, not pimp, pip squeak.
Look at him. He's like perfect to be set up with the, and the Halloween colors fit so well.
Yeah. And also, if you can't tell, behind the Gravebreaker is another gravestone. Is he gone? That's the Shadow of Mourning gravestone out. So those will be in
Nice.
production soon. Very
I
excited
like
about
that one.
how
Did
these
you
all-
whitelist that one?
I did not whitelist that one.
Okay. All right.
These
'Cause I want that one.
yeah, Pumpkin Pip Squeak, Izzy, the Shadow of Mourning and the OG Gravestone, they were all released, and Death Watching Over Me. That's this guy back over here.
Oh.
Those were all approved after I did the whitelist, and I
Nice.
already knew that I had such a great response from the whitelist. People were like, "This is dumb. This guy has all these mints available, and everything's reserved." And I had to explain that, hey, you know what? I said, I'm happy that I got these ahead of Halloween, and the whitelist was great, so that gave me a production priority. And I would love to have these out for everybody, but I'm working through it. It takes a while to make. And, I have this season stuff that I'll continue to make throughout the year. And then I have stuff lined up for next Halloween already that I'll be producing. So it's going to be a fun time. I'm wanting Creedmoor. I'm really enjoying the Creedmoor neighborhood, having fun there. So it's perpetual
gonna say,
Halloween.
That Crooked Home seems very apropos for the spooky Halloween node.
Oh yeah, that's on 251st Street there in Queens in the Bella Rose neighborhood. And then I was able to pick up 2 properties in Creedmoor proper, so I'll be decorating there. And I also picked up a nice large 1,200 up square property just northwest of Bella Rose. So I'm going to put a shop right there so people don't have to travel far from the Creedmoor area to buy these awesome map assets to decorate the hood all year long.
Nice.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I was able to. So 251st Street.
Yeah.
I got one on 239.
Okay.
I picked up my reserved assets today and dropped them on Cross Island Parkway on the track.
Oh,
The track
okay.
that they're building.
Yeah, I love what Toss Shack did on taking my concepts and making them reality, and I love that Upland didn't deviate from what was really submitted, and I'm super excited for that.
Yeah,
That'd be
they turned out
awesome.
really awesome. They look great.
I can't believe you got away with a 20-foot tall asset.
18 foot. Oh, and there's another one that will be approved here soon. So,
Wow.
Well, it's just like the ones that I want to buy for my, those big blow up ones that my wife won't let me buy.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm still like a kid when I'm like, oh, come on, can we get this one this year? And she's like, oh, heck no.
Talking about map assets, I do want to say the Kaboom ones sold out in Fresh Meadows today.
Nice.
Like
Oh, wow,
Congratulations
instantly.
that's great.
there.
Yeah. So
Very nice.
and the connection to it was Shacklin and Tosshead and Toss Shack Productions. They did the Kaboom ones too. So they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we're working on our Christmas line now too. So we got a Christmas line coming. I'm excited for that too.
Yeah, that's super cool. Dak, when's the next Kaboom sale? Is there, and how many more are there? Or can you release that info?
So I have released it in the DMG and the DM Gaming Discord for those that have joined, and it's going to be limited inventory, so the information is there.
I see.
Yeah.
KO, you looking for a swing set?
Yeah, I've been trying to sneak in, and it hasn't worked out yet. So I'm trying to snag a few.
Today there was two people, SRJ86, everyone knows him. He picked up 3 Dino slides and a
Oh,
couple
nice.
of other things. And then someone else bought like 10 of them, 10 of the different assets. It was like, holy cow, he loaded up.
Nice.
I'm
nice.
hoping they do like
Very nice.
Howard Beach did, where they created like that playground and they put the gnomes in it and everything. And it's so awesome. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen the image, the picture. It's just so cool.
I
got to
did see
see
that.
that one. We have to decorate ours up still. We've got it placed on a pretty big piece of property, so we got to add to it.
Very nice. All right, Dak, thank you
Like
so
it.
much. Look
Thank you.
forward to talking to you next week and seeing who won and giving us all the exciting other updates of the Upland Racing League.
Yeah, thanks. It's been fun. Thanks again for your support.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk soon. Good luck tomorrow to all the racers.
Have a good one, Dak.
See you, Dak.
All right, now what we have is totems. I know we talked about it quickly at the beginning, but totems pre-sale starting tomorrow for chapter 3, the panda and the shark.
Shark and pandas.
It's interesting, at first you're like, oh, dragonfly and palm tree, and then it just it continues to, you wonder about the pairing and the thoughts behind the pairing. So
Yeah, it is interesting. I came across. It's interesting. People are killing on the secondary market with this stuff. Found someone in our node today has 17 totems on their property.
what?
17.
Wow, that's
it's-
crazy. Like,
Whose property is that Ocho's property?
It was in the Hyde Park. I was just looking at some stuff and I counted them all up and yep, there's.
I mean, wow, that's
I'm scared to have that many because I don't know how much work that's going to be.
exactly that's exactly where I was going, KO. I'm like, you don't
That
even
could
know
be a
how
lot
much
of work. You could be
Yeah.
starving them, killing them, and then you get no protein, right?
you're gonna have to like set your alarms to wake up in the middle of the night for optimum.
I know, man. How hard do you think it's going to be to take care of these things? I have literally no idea.
I don't think it's going to be that hard, but
I think you're going to have to check in once or twice a day. That's
yeah,
my just gut feeling. That's
If Upland was smart, they'd make it, and that's what I'm intrigued about. Is it going to be set durations on Upland time, or is it how you initially start doing something and it's going to be based off of that, so it works within your sleep cycle? I've played some games where people set alarm clocks just to wake up in the middle of the night to take care of things in game because that's when the timer runs out on stuff. So I'm intrigued to see how it's going to work, and I'm intrigued. I would figure 2 to 3 interactions a day with it, but we also know that each one of these have different characteristics, and that determines a whole bunch of different things. So maybe the more common stuff, is it the more common stuff you don't have to do as much with, and the rarer stuff you have to do more with, or is it the other way around? Because since it's rare, it's better and you don't have to interact as much. Like there's so many variables in it that you're waiting for the information to drop.
Well,
Yeah.
and it like my concern for those for those that are collecting so many, after after all the totems are out and then we start taking care of these things and earning protum and things like that, if you can you sell a totem then, and then will that person be able to earn the protum for selling the totem to someone else after everything has started? Because
Ooh,
you might have bit off more than you could chew, and then
yeah.
okay, let me sell off a few, but maybe you can't earn protum if you can't transfer. I'm not sure. I'm just speculating.
Well, I don't know. The only key there is if you do it in the middle of a life cycle.
Yeah.
And if it's in between life cycles, no issues. You're in between life cycles. So next life cycle starts and you do what you need to do. But it's what happens if you decide to do it mid life cycle? Does it stop at player one? And then when player two picks up, they have to start nurturing it and they earn from that point on?
Mm. Those were some questions I had. I was like, what if I get too many of these things? What if 3 of them is too many? What if 2 of them is too many? And you want to sell one? Is it going to be sellable during the protum earning phase, basically?
Yeah. But I mean, think about it. All your protom's going to be the stem token. Now that's somebody that has 17. Holy crap. Hopefully they can manage.
Yeah, more
That's
power to them if they
a lot
can.
of responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be
Hope-
interesting.
Hopefully they can manage that. All right. Next we have the mini game competition. One win 1 million UPX. That's kind of a little tongue twister there.
Where'd
But
those minis come from? What is that?
yeah, it was interesting. Of a couple of people that I talked to, and they've been working on some mini games, and they're close to finishing up their development. So I do find it kind of coincidental that Upland says that, hey, let's implement some mini games, and you can win up to 1 million UPX.
Yeah, I think this is cool, and the 1 million UPX isn't massive, in my opinion, for creating a workable, playable mini game. But a good point was brought up. It's either in another stream or in a chat where these games could potentially earn the creators UPX.
Yeah.
So that made a lot of sense. So you get the 1 million UPX bonus, but then this is going to be, potential UPX earners for the creators, which is cool.
Yeah. Now the interesting part was it says a pre-developed open source game is allowed. So I'm intrigued of what people will do with something like that.
Yeah, there's a new channel in the Upland server for this, and I actually popped in there today and just was reading what was going on, and there's a ton of people, there's a ton of stuff going on, lots of ideas, lots of people already working. So I think it's gonna be a tough competition. Actually, I think there's gonna be a lot of options out there.
Oh, absolutely. And just because you don't win doesn't mean Upland's not going to include you in Upland. So just because you don't win doesn't mean you're going to be left in the dark with your game, because Upland needs these type of mini game competitions. And really, if if you're able to develop one of these games and have, the range of, if you can stake like in racing, that can be lucrative for the game developer in the UPX realm. So a lot of potential here, a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, I think just like exactly like the racing. I mean, how there's gonna be so many people much more excited to race now. Although you got to be careful just jumping into any random race, but no, I think it's going to create excitement and keep people in Upland longer and more involved. So I think it's a good thing.
And that's the important thing, is the utility, actually being able to do something in Upland besides, and at the heart of it, it is a buying, selling, trading, flipping game. But then you have the layer two, but we have our race speedways. Now we're going to get the mini games going on. Excited for these developments.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see what comes out of that.
Yeah. They did update the ability to create content. They're streamlining the process, and it's supposed to be easier. Looking forward to seeing how that works for all the developers. Really wanted to touch on the Spark Week sale. It's been a while since we had Spark Week. You had a lot of people hanging on, waiting to do their, ceremony to the next higher tier for weeks now. And there were speculations in all the servers, like, why isn't there a Spark Week? What's going on? We have the big announcement about Sparklet, so it makes sense. And I was expecting Spark to be high demand, and sure enough, when I logged in to see purchasing, I was way back on a handful of them, but then they didn't sell. A lot of people just registered but didn't purchase. I was surprised by that. What did you guys think?
I thought it was going to go a lot quicker just because it's been so long, and with all the new stuff coming in, the new recent announcements, I thought it was going to sell out pretty quick, actually. So I was surprised as well.
I'm actually not surprised that it didn't sell out. I think people are grinding at treasure hunts right now, accumulating as much as they can. I know I've been doing that. I think a lot of the players that are big into Spark have made their investment, as far as like financially, with Spark. I know when I first started playing, I definitely have some US dollar investment into Spark. I haven't in quite a while. I've just been earning it through treasure hunts. So I wasn't too crazy shocked to not see it sell out too quickly. So I think a lot of people are curious about how Sparklet's going to go and how it's going to do on the market, and maybe just playing a little more of a patient game. I know that's kind of how my head was, where I'm accumulating Spark every week, through treasure hunts and the check-in bonus, and but I also have a good chunk already, so I might be thinking differently if I didn't have enough. But just I'm curious to see how the whole Sparklet. I'm going to keep accumulating as much as I possibly can. But I am curious and I'm going to be patient before I go buy more, I think, to see how it reacts on the market.
And I think what a lot of people were looking forward to was the sparked up treasure hunting. That did not happen.
Yeah, that was interesting. Do you think this will be the last Spark Week?
No, I don't. I think there'll be more. I think there was a pause in Spark Week just based off of Upland putting together the Sparklet package, and they were just trying to figure everything out and wanted to get all those details in place, get the vote out there, and go through the vote before actually moving forward with Spark Week sales, because what was offered wasn't any different. The only thing missing this week was the Spark Up rewards. You were still able to level up and get your Spark bonuses for that. You're still able to purchase Spark, but you weren't able to get the Sparked Up treasure rewards and treasure hunting.
I wasn't too crazy upset over the treasure hunting because I never did the competitive ones because I sucked at them. I quit after a few months of trying and just stuck with the standards. So I kind of just stopped with those. But I know a lot of people are.
So what do you earn a week in your standard treasure hunting with Spark on average?
On average, I would say hunting 0.1 a week.
Okay, that's pretty solid.
I know like some weeks it's less, some weeks it's more, but I would say that's probably the average.
Okay.
So and sometimes on the weekend if I have half an hour to kill, I've got my standard hunt time down to about 90 seconds. So I can sit down and knock out 20 hunts pretty quick and usually get a spark chest in there on the weekends. Weekdays, maybe I have time for 5 or 10, here and there, sometimes you're standing in line at the grocery store and you can knock out one in 90 seconds if there's 4 people ahead of you. So,
right.
Yeah, I just sneak them in every once in a while. So,
a red light, stuff like that, right?
No. Hunt responsibly.
Hunt responsibly. Oh, Dizzy back at it. There we go. Love it.
Ooh. Were those ninjas down there the whole time?
No.
I just saw him like 5 minutes ago. I saw him pop up. I was like, where did those come from? Oh, there we go. There's some spectacular stuff too.
Dizzy backstage having fun.
Oh, Dizzy's doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We gave him administrator access years ago. So
well, I like the ninjas.
Yeah, they look pretty cool.
He gets a couple of extra privileges back there. No, but I do appreciate you guys joining me to fill in for Thank Me Later. His mom popped into town, so it was he's like 2 weeks in a row. I'm like, it's good, man. It's good to hang out with your mom, and you'll be back. I go, we've been putting in work for over 3 years, so I get it.
You got tons of people to support and step in when needed. So
yeah. I said, I'm not replacing you, but I got plenty of people that can help out.
But if you go 3 weeks.
Well, I already told him that if he has something pops up next week, I got Dizzy lined up just in case. And he's like, what? And I said, oh yeah. I'm like, look, it's starting to be a pattern. He goes, I'm not quitting. I go, I know you're not quitting on me. It's all good, brother. Nothing but love. But yeah. So
I think a surprise Dizzy appearance would be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
So, I think I've seen Dizzy on since the anniversary show? He popped in
so.
There. Yeah.
I think that was the last time we had him on. Oh, good point, though, Mark. I forgot to talk about that. $25 for 0.5 Spark. Well, it was actually $29.99 for, or no, yeah, $29.99 was the price.
I think so.
Or no, 0.5 Spark
it's
was
0.05.
0.05 because 0.5 Spark was $239.99.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was more expensive than that.
And then 0.05 was $29.99. And I get that. I get that the more you buy, the cheaper it should be, but then make equal quantities available because there's people. So it didn't happen this sale, but there were previous sales where people were like, I want to buy a Spark. I want to buy one Spark for $460, but they don't have that option. So they have to piecemeal it. And
it costs a lot more.
And I get making it available, but at least kind of even it out. Just don't limit it, make 300 Spark available but if you do think about it, the 0.01 Spark at 300 is 3 Sparks. So, I get it. I don't know how I feel. I go back and forth about it as you add up the total available at each level and the price that it cost and the conversion rate and all that. But you got people that are looking to acquire a lot of Spark. You got people that can barely afford any Spark, but they know the importance of Spark that's going to be in the future. I mean, just think about it. The UPX Spark exchange was at $5 a Spark hour, or 5 UPX a Spark hour, just like 2 months ago, and you're already pushing 8.
Yeah,
and it's moving up. and it's going to continue to move up. And I remember when it was a lot higher, and everybody was crying as it was going down. But now we're on the rebound, and I'm like, not yet, not yet. There's still things I want to build super cheap.
Oh man, yeah. I just got something sparked up, and I was taking advantage of the low prices before they shoot back up.
Yeah, I got showrooms. I'm expanding. I'm setting things up to expand, as getting my Spark, getting the showrooms out across the way, buying properties, and having all that fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what is behind you, SC Kicker? I've been trying to figure it out all show. It's like tiny writing.
Oh, it's the Hyde Park roadmap back there,
Oh, okay.
and then some inspirational stuff there, and then just a calendar for October. That's it.
Oh,
My
awesome.
fancy cave back here.
I appreciate it, Saffrith. Bill for free. Thank you, brother. Absolutely, Drifter. Take advantage of the low prices now. And low marks made 1.7 spark in hunting. Yes.
Yep.
So once you got to fill your cars, your buildings, then it's going to be burnable to create legits. You're going to be able to create legits. You're going to be able to stake your spark in factories to help people create your structure ornaments, your map assets, and all that. It's for as many of people that complained at how hard it crashed, it's going to flip back around on us.
Yeah, we were talking about earlier on stream how the people that are preparing and building are going to be rewarded, I believe, because I think it's going to happen quick, and then it's going to be hard to play catch up versus the people that are preparing for that but whenever it is, and that's the thing, you don't know when. You don't like when things are going to be released, and I have a feeling though it's going to be a snowball effect fairly quickly.
Oh, absolutely. So if you have the ability, start doing it now.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, you guys have anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here for the week?
Shoo. I think that's about everything. I came straight from kicking and punching and screaming, and
Yeah, same here.
my wife has got dinner waiting on me, and so I think I'm about to get cranky if I don't get my dinner. So
Awesome. What about you, SC Kicker?
Yeah, the same thing. I got to get something to eat here and just kind of wind down. Same thing. I got out from kicking and punching, and then just ready to relax. So yeah, we're ready. Good luck to KO tomorrow on the race, and Too Stupid as well. I know you're a sponsor for this race, so
yeah, go win yourself a Midnight Reaper.
I know I need to. Yeah, you need to do that. I wish I was in the race so I had a chance.
Well, unfortunately, the best I can do is beat TB and go from 5th to 4th, which I will still be trying to do.
No, but if you finish first overall in the race, you get the Midnight Reaper. It's not the series. It's just the race winner.
Yeah, for that race.
I did not catch that earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Game on tomorrow. Okay.
So that first, second, third, fourth, fifth that I laid out, that's for the race winner. It's not for the season winner. It's just for it makes it competitive, the last race, for the people that, the top 3 were locked in. But I even talked about it earlier on just to have fun as they were being released. I'm like, I want to give some of those away for the race that we're sponsoring. And then I have more. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Let's do this. So, it gives a little more incentive for the racers tomorrow.
It does. It absolutely does. Okay. I did not realize that little caveat right there. So
Ooh, Crypto Worm in the house. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? The only way to increase floor prices would be to limit releases and add utility to the properties available.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. All right. Thank you two so much for stepping in, helping me out this week. Really appreciate it. Always enjoy having you guys on. Make sure you guys check out their series, Upland for Dummies. I'm loving it. They're doing a nice job there, breaking it down in nice short videos for everybody. So even though you know how to play, just go watch it. Help support them. Get their views up. Give their likes up. Get their subscriptions up. Definitely go for it. Help these guys out. Really appreciate it. Until next week, everybody, be safe, have fun, and we'll see you out there in the metaverse.
The UPX Podcast with the property expert. If it's happening in Upland, it's the place you want to check first. With your host too stupid to win and thank me later. Bringing the strategy, news, and cool charts with all the data. This is Upland, where the metaverse goes down. Genesis, San Fran, to Rio, and all around. Don't miss a week, you never know what they'll say next. It's the Upland property experts, baby, UPX.